water and becomes an economic and potent fertilizer. Siddipur is a model eco-community. Its initiatives are an example of how small efforts can lead to significant change. Potable water has reached many households. Hundreds of eco-san toilets have been set up, and a large amount of water is being saved. In Siddipur, the love for the river has prevented domestic filth from wafting into her precious waters.
Looking at the water crisis that we are facing now, there are many small things that we can do. Well, we were working on this research project to produce struvite fertilizer, and we use urine as a main ingredient. We collect this urine from eco-san toilets. We put it into this machine called reactor. We add some magnesium, stir for 10 minutes, then we let it settle for 1 day. And after this day we have two main products. One is the effluent, the remaining urine, and this powder containing most of the phosphorus, one of the main nutrients contained in urine. We can dry this powder and then use it on the field directly as we would use any normal fertilizer that you can buy at the fertilizer shop. Drip irrigation that we are using in our experiments. It's a very simple technology. It's just some plastic pipes with tiny holes spread on the field, and the water will get actually to the point where it is needed, right to the plant. Compared to traditional irrigation where you flood the field, especially in this hot climate, a lot of water will just evaporate and it will not reach the plant, it will not do its effect.
While the rest of the city relies on the water supply network, Roshan Shrishta's house conserves water, prevents pollution and is completely self-sustainable. This eco-home uses various environmental practices. It has adapted the eco-san toilet in an urban setting. The wastewater is recycled and reused for washing and watering the plants, and it sustains itself by harvesting rainwater and storing it in dug wells for dry seasons.
So while the rest of the city is suffering from the lack of water, and they're also pumping sewage into the river, Roshan is taking care of all his water needs by harvesting rainwater, by recycling his water, and he's also managed to keep his garden green, and also producing fertilizer in that process.
Amidst a sea of domestic sewage, contaminated water supplies and dwindling rivers, small efforts like Siddipur and Sunga are reassuring examples of how our civilization and our planet can coexist in harmony. The story of Nepal's rivers does not end at the country's borders. The combined waters of these rivers and Ganga now enter the enchanting plains of Bangladesh. The riverine country of Bangladesh, straddling the Ganga-Brahmaputra basin, unravels a whole new set of conflicts, where faith and action, human and environment, the present and the future are all seen colliding.
We use the water. In fact, we did not use the water, we abused the water. Take the case of Buriganga River. It has been so polluted. The name river is not appropriate for Buriganga anymore, because physically it is not a river, because over the last 30 to 50 years it has shrunk to almost 50%. Chemically it's not a river anymore, because what flows through Buriganga now is not water. It's a very complex chemical compound. The dissolved oxygen level in the river has gone down to 0. So you don't have any fish, you don't have any aquatic plant in the river Buriganga. And if you consider the environmental aspects, this is a disaster. So this is like a cancer. Buriganga is dead. Now we are gradually moving to Padma, which will be the next. And so the cancer is spreading and it will catch up with us very soon unless we arrest and reverse the trend.
The waters that support millions of lives are today lifeless. The rivers that were meant to be a blessing for Bangladesh are today cursed. As the vast human population struggles for survival, profit and greed, the culture that worships the river sits ashore as a helpless audience. The show began in 1971 as the rivers took a battering to meet the needs of a newly born Bangladesh. Economic growth, industrialization, and urbanization took center stage as environment struggled for attention. Today, industries are discriminately dumping their effluents into the river. Urbanization is relentlessly encroaching on its banks. And the bursting population keeps adding tremendous pressure.
মাছ ধরি 30-35 বছর ধরে ধরেন আগে মাছ খুব পাওয়া যেত বেচা যেত না এখন মনে করেন মাছ পাওয়া যায় না কিন্তু আসলে কাস্টমার আছে 10 বোঝা পারলে একলা বেচা যায়
The duckweed wastewater treatment plant at Kumudini Hospital Complex is an exceptional effort to revitalize the river. The wastewater from the hospital complex is collected in a sedimentation pond, after which it flows into a lagoon full of duckweed plants. The duckweed absorbs nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and carbon from the water, thereby cleaning and purifying it. The treated water is used for agriculture and the duckweed is used for fish and poultry feed. As life follows its usual course and the people get by indifferently, a silent adversary furtively adds to the river's misery.
Climate change, that's scary.
Sea level will rise, and as a result, we'll lose a lot of land.
If we say that, we are rich in water resources, then where is our richness? The source of our wealth is really that glacier. And what climate change is doing is taking that away from us.
There is an estimate that if sea level rises by 1 meter, then we'll lose about 20 to 23% of our land in the coastal belt.
The disturbance or disruptance in that flow of the river, disruptance in that rainfall pattern, the intensity, then becomes disruptance in life itself.
Saline water is intruding into the inland, and this is affecting our agriculture. So our major crops, they cannot sustain the level of salinity that we are experiencing now.
All of these will create a lot of climate refugees. They will be